one of the questions which I get asked the most is, how do I scale my store? All right. And this needs to be dissected, and we need to really look into what it actually means to scale a store, how to prepare for scaling a store, because you cannot just scale stores without preparing for it properly, and then when you're actually there, how to go about it. In this video, we're going to cover all of that, and especially we're going to cover how to prepare for the moment where you actually can start scaling, okay? Because scaling too soon will fuck everything up. I did it was super stupid, and I did a bunch of mistakes, lost a shit ton of money, and I crashed. I don't want you to have the same experience, and that's why I'm going to explain to you what you need to have in place before to actually make sure that you're good. The number one thing you need to understand is every single mistake inside of the business, if you scale it, the mistake gets huge. This mistake also gets scaled while spending more money on whatever you're doing. All right, so it's like a magnifying glass where every mistake gets, which is hidden in the beginning, becomes a huge problem and can mess up your margins like crazy. So there's a couple of things which are very important, and I'm going to go through them. Number one is the customer experience. Number two is how you drive the business, how you get employees and all of those things. And number three is how you go about prioritizing the split tests that you have. Okay, so how many creatives do you have, how many product pages do you have, how many products do you test, etc. So all those three areas have to be on point to actually be able to scale properly. So the first thing before you actually get to start scaling is obvious, finding a winning product. All right, you cannot scale unprofitable things. You need to make first profits, and then you can start spending more money. And there's a bunch of ways of scaling it, and to be honest, if you make money on one product and everything works really well, it doesn't really matter if you test CBOs, ABOs, horizontal testing, vertical testing, all those different specifics on Facebook, they don't matter that much if you have a really good product, if you have a really good store, and if you have really good ads. If those three things are on point, you're not going to have to worry about specifics. However, when those three things are on point, you're going to have to start worrying about so many other things, like the customer experience. You will not notice bad customer feedback if you only make 5 sales per day. Nobody will really care about that. Nothing is going to happen to you, okay? If you have 50 to 100 sales, it's going to make a drastic impact. And your feedback score on Facebook is going to drop really quickly. Your PayPal accounts is going to be on hold super fast. Your Shopify payments and your Stripe, all of those things rely on your customer service. And you need to make sure that, number one, the product quality is actually good. I wouldn't recommend scaling products which have terrible product quality just because you want to make quick money. The goal here is to win in the long run. And if you scale really strong, and if you scale to 5K per day with a product which is not that great in terms of quality, you can have a lot of issues. All right. The second is make sure that your supplier actually can keep up with the demand. For my suppliers, that's basically never an issue because we found really good ones. However, if you're just starting out and don't have a private agent, it's going to be a tough thing. So if you actually want to get connected to my supplier, just write the word supplier below this video. I'm going to connect you guys. But anyways, the other thing is having a ton of backups for everything. All right, and this is going to be very important. If you don't have a bunch of Facebook accounts lined up, if you don't have other PayPal accounts lined up, if you don't have multiple products, you're gonna be screwed. Backups need to be everywhere for every single area of the business. This is the golden rule. You cannot have a black box. All right, a black box is a thing which, if this one thing goes down, everything goes down. So for example, if you're the only person who's running the entire business and God forbid you basically get sick, the business is down. All right, you cannot run anything. That means that your money is going to go down. Or your Facebook account is the only Facebook account which actually is able to run Facebook ads for you. If that goes down, done. You don't have any income. And there, for example, you have two options to diversify here, either more platforms or more accounts on Facebook. But you need to do this, and you need to think of worst case scenarios before they happen. Now, don't take this as an excuse and focus on irrelevant problems which you don't even have before you make money, all right? I'm only talking to the specific group of people here right now who actually already started to make money, and then you immediately start focusing on problems which are about to happen, okay? First, you only focus on problems which you have right now. So your problem, for example, is you're not making money. The first initial thing is finding a winning product. Everything else doesn't matter, all right? Your job right now is not to build PayPal accounts or whatever. You don't need virtual assistants. You don't need anything except for this winning product. And basically after you have that, you need to start worrying about way more than that. And the other thing you need to understand is every single dollar which is spent on your funnel, if your funnel is not optimized, you're losing out on money. All right, so if you're spending $100 per day on ads and you're making 200, but in reality you don't have the perfect upsell, and if you would have the perfect upsell, you would make $250, you're losing out on $50. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal until you understand that those $50 are pure profit after your product cost. So that means that your margins just doubled basically. And if you make $200, that's one thing. But if you make $5,000 on a funnel which is not optimized properly yet, you're screwed. You're losing out on so much money, all right? And here I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the creatives, the product page, the upsells, the variants of the product, everything. Even the backend, like the email marketing or SMS marketing, or influencers which you could be working with, or in general, all the things which are not perfectly optimized are a big issue, all right? And you need to understand that, you need to consciously understand that every single thing which is not optimized is losing you money. It's not making you extra money, it's losing you money. And you have to have this scarcity mentality where you need to be conscious of, all right, I need to test a bunch of things. You cannot get comfortable. You cannot just chill after making 1K per day and then think that everything is great already. Because why change a running system if it already works? I shouldn't change it. Yes, you shouldn't change it, but you should split test a bunch of things, all right? And the core spend of your money obviously should not go to like random bullshit, but you should split test a lot of things until you actually find the perfect one. And here, everything needs to be looked at globally, all right? If you test one creative and it doesn't work, that's totally normal, all right? If you test 10 creatives and all of them don't work, even though your very first one was great, that's also fine. Test another 10, test another 10, test another 10. And then if number 30 is gonna actually make you money, then all the losses will be regained. All right, the 30 creatives which you tested, which were not profitable, you're immediately getting the money back if you get a 1% higher CTR with the same CPM. You just need to understand that the budget you're spending is allocated to exactly what you're doing. And if you don't do this thing perfect, then your budget is wasted. So if you actually need help with scaling your store or finding your first winning product, click the link below, sign up for a free consultation session with me personally, and we're gonna find out if everything sounds like a good fit and we can get started in our one-on-one mentoring program. So if you're actually interested in that, click the link below and see you there.